I don't know if you can see any of this because it's very dark, but anyway, we're going to give this a go.
Let's do it.
Oh, okay. Instantly you can feel the body moving back. A lot of mass moves to the back, but the front lifts. The engine sounds fantastic. The speed is building 100. Hi guys, and I'm here at the very secret reveal of the Black Badge edition of the new Rolls-Royce Ghost. We're at an airfield here somewhere near Silverstone. I can't tell you anything more than that. Also, we're doing this at night. Why are we doing this at night? Because nobody can see it. It's black anyway, and it's all blacked out. I mean, this is the signature Black Badge thing, which is of course the Black Badge badge itself, as well as the Spirit of Ecstasy, the Flying Lady. She's also coated in a very thin layer of black, I'm led to understand. I hope that stays on very well at high speeds. Anyway, the grille itself is also black, and of course you get wheels on this which are completely different. They're carbon wheels on this car. The calipers now are red. You get that as standard, but now you can also get yellow, and to coordinate with the interior of this car you can get them in turquoise as well. So, usual features: black window surrounds, black finisher at the tail end of the car. Those features are all there. What else is different under the skin? Well, this car, obviously, they don't like to use the word sporty, but it's a little bit more excitable. That's what this car is all about. So there's a few more horsepowers in here. I'll put the figures on the screen. I am at a first drive event for this car, so I don't have all the data with me, but I'll put it all on the screen for you. Also, the suspension has been uprated, and there's not a sport mode, but a low mode. But I'll tell you what, let's try and find out a little bit more about the Black Badge design and what it represents from somebody who knows a lot more about it than I do. Before we get into any of that, make sure that you're following me on browncarguy.com. Make sure you're subscribing to this channel, which of course is youtube.com/browncarguy. Make sure you follow me on all the social media channels, which of course just search for my hashtag, which is #browncarguy. Cool, let's get into this. So I'm here with Felix Kilbertus. Have I got that right?
Kilbertus, almost.
Kilbertus, almost. What an awesome name. And you're the head of exterior design
at
Rolls-Royce.
Yes.
Now, this is the Black Badge edition of the Ghost. What does Black Badge actually represent within Rolls-Royce?
I think it gives us an opportunity to show the alter ego of Rolls-Royce. And I think Rolls-Royce historically has been associated with these, bright front ends and the beautiful reflections that you would have, both the light, the environment. But on Black Badge we subvert that a little bit. We invert that actually aesthetically, and it's almost as if light couldn't escape that dense character that the Rolls-Royce Ghost Black Badge.
So instead of reflecting light, you're absorbing light.
It almost. It's a
but what does that say about the personality of a Black Badge owner then?
Well, probably quite a strong personality, I would argue. So.
And how is that translated to the new Ghost? I mean, one thing that we know about the new Ghost, one of the terms that's been used a lot in association with it is post-opulence. Isn't it a bit too much for this car then?
Post opulence, I think, is an interesting term that allows us to really take things away when we feel that we need this purity, this reduction in things. But it also allows us to use more of the good stuff as well. So it's really about finding that perfect balance, but really refrain from superfluous treatment. So everything we do here, and you will see layers and layers of interesting details that this car has to offer, has that richness, that meaning that we strive to have on our cars.
So tell me a little bit about the car. For example, I noticed this incredible pinstriping that's coming along here. How does that, is that part of the black badge treat?
So our coach lines, you can of course specify on every model we offer, but specifically on these ones we use the coach line to really tie together the interior and the exterior. So here we have this beautiful turquoise interior, and we chose to have that here on the car. You will find it also as a pinstripe on the hub of the wheel, and we also offer that on the brake calipers, for example.
So this color can be had on brake calipers now as well?
That's
although this one's got a red brake caliper.
This one still has a red one,
yeah.
But we're excited to offer more than just one color on the brake caliper.
So what else can you get now? So you get the red and you get the turquoise, and what else can you get?
There's forged yellow as well, and I think one of the cars that you will experience has this beautiful forged yellow piping, some of the leather details, and the brake calipers as well.
And tell me about this wheel. It looks absolutely extraordinary.
This wheel has been one of my favorites actually when it came to putting together Black Badge. So first of all, it's a carbon wheel, it's an actual carbon rim, and I think you have 22 layers of carbon fiber that actually folded on top of each other before they're pressed into their mold. And then you have titanium fasteners onto which the hub is fastened. So it's really a very complex assembly. It's very precise, and we wanted to express that sharpness, that precision. In its design, you still have these interlocking features that express Black Badge for us.
So this is what this is about, these sort of cogs that are interlocking on the wheel.
Absolutely. So you have, and even philosophically, you have one shape that is really continuous, and the other one that cuts into it to really show that, the car was clawing into
kind
the
of
road.
Harmonious, but at the same time aggressive as well.
That's a good way of describing the car, absolutely.
And talking of that, if we can open the door, because obviously, like you said, this pinstriping or this coach line is matched to the interior. There's something very interesting you said about the choice of that color in your presentation earlier.
So turquoise is a lovely color, and for us we chose it because it has a very complex set of meanings. So for me it's a warm color, but also a cool color, so you can associate it, say, with the Caribbean, but at the same time also with really icy waters. And I also like it because in many cultures it is used to fend off the evil eye, for example. So it has this little protective nature as well, that dense character that Black Badge has for us.
That's amazing. This car will totally fend off the evil eye. Because I tell you what, you're talking about the turquoise in some cultures. In our culture, it's the black color itself which fends off the evil eye.
There we go.
So there's no evil eye with this car. Tell me what else we can expect to see that's different in the interior. There's no wood I see, or is there?
We have what we call a technical fiber that takes the role of where we usually have our wooden veneers. And actually, interestingly, you're absolutely right, we still have wood as the first layer before we build it up with the tech fiber. And then this hand-placed diamond patterned tech fiber is then placed in its resin and pulled to a very, very high, deep shine as well.
It looks absolutely stunning. I can't wait to get in there and give this thing a drive. But Felix, thank you so much for talking me around this car.
My pleasure. Thank you.
So I'm here in a Black Badge Ghost now. I'm with Joe. You can't see, he's just off camera. And he's told me that we're doing this under cover of darkness because nobody's aware of the Black Badge car yet. So this is what, are we slaloming here?
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
So we're on a runway now, and we are basically slaloming through the white lines, the middle white lines that you get on a runway. So we are not an aircraft, we're not landing. and hopefully there's no aircraft landing whilst we're doing this. but here we are behind another car that's similar to this one, and we're doing this. And what were you telling me about the low mode on this car, Joe?
So when you press low mode on the gear selector on the column there, you basically at 90% throttle. When you're in low mode, you get a 50% increase in the gear change speed, so you'll feel the gear change a little bit more. Normally in Rolls-Royce you don't really feel the gear change, you don't really hear it, you just increase in speed.
So this is a little bit of a nod to the sporty aspect of this car, if you like.
I mean, we wouldn't go down the route.
Yeah, wouldn't go down the road of using that route. Let's call it swift.
Yeah. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah,
let's call it a little bit more excitable, perhaps.
Exactly. Yeah. It just gives you a little kick to wake you up.
Right.
And then it also holds onto the gear for a little bit longer to give you a few more revs,
right.
Give you a bit more torque.
Okay, so guys, we're doing an acceleration run now in the Black Badge Ghost, and basically full throttle until I hit the red lights and I'm supposed to stop. I don't know if you can see any of this because it's very dark, but anyway, we're going to give this a go.
Let's do it.
Oh, okay. Instantly you can feel the body moving back. A lot of mass moves to the back, but the front lifts. The engine sounds fantastic. The speed is building 100, 120, 110, 120, and we're at the red lights now, so I'm going to start slow down. That was done in the normal mode. We weren't in the low mode at the moment. Plenty of brakes are no problem at all. Plenty of space to slow down, so that's quite good. We could have got a bit more MPH, I reckon.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So they have changed the suspension on this as well. So this is why this car, I mean, it's very, very stable. It's not leaning too much.
Look at the bonnet.
Yeah.
Flat on the road.
I mean, I can feel my body moving a little bit, but
Increase the speed.
But the car itself is fairly steady.
Yeah. And really push on now. It's still staying nice
Yeah.
and flat and hunkered down. It's quite agile, I think.
Yeah.
So we'll start
For a
easy.
big car, it's not bad at all. I think we were doing that at about 70 at that point.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. Yeah, it was very stable in that sense. But you can, of course, it's a biggish car, so you can feel the mass starting to move around. But the sense of stability, I think, is splendid. Okay, so it's now indicating low on the instrument panel.
It's not lit anything up in red.
No,
It's just
and yes,
saying-
no, I know the dials haven't gone red
No.
and anything like that.
No,
So
it's just,
it's all very subtle, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, yeah.
But I didn't detect any. So can I just turn that off again? So, because there.
So it'll only happen.
Yeah, so in a static position, there's no change in the sound, there's no change in the attitude, the car isn't vibrating or anything like that. So, so we're now in low mode and we're going to do the same acceleration run again. Okay, yes, you can feel that change of gear. Third, fourth, you can hear this aggressiveness of the engine now. At higher revs, you can definitely hear it. And we can, yeah, no problem at all. Yeah, 140 was it?
Yeah.
140, so that was significantly better than before. That's quite substantial, but actually it was more exciting.
Yeah.
I think is the takeaway from it,
That's
you know.
Black Badge.
Yeah,
It's how it
that's
makes
what it's
you feel.
about, yeah.
It's not an extra. We got an extra 10 miles an hour, yeah, great. But it's how it makes you feel.
So the fact that we were able to do the momentum before in relative calm, we were still able to do it in calm, but it was a little bit more visceral. You felt a little bit more of the actual momentum, the gear changes, you could hear a bit more of the engine. So a little bit more of a sensation of speed from the car, which I guess for villainous Black Badge drivers is something that might appeal to them.
It's a very good way of putting it, yeah. It opposite steers at low speeds, at high speeds, it co-steers, so the back of the car rolls across as well. I mean, it's only a very slight amount. Like
It's not something that you can necessarily feel.
No.
The way that you sense it is just in the stability of the rear when you're doing it. There's no, you know, often with cars like this, you get, if you do a maneuver like that, you get a sensation of the rear following the front.
Exactly.
That's not what's happening. What's happening here is that it's kind of moving in unison together. So it's very effective. Very good. Thank you, Joe.
No problem. I mean, because these cars have champagne in the back as well. You don't want to be spilling that over your nice leather, eh?
So now we're doing a little bit of a road route, and I'm joined by Suhaib of ArabGT.
Hello.
This guy is a legend right here, and you're over in London just to drive this car.
Yeah.
Is it your first time to London after the pandemic?
Yeah, this is my first time.
Oh my goodness. Did you enjoy it? You were in London itself yesterday. Did you enjoy your day out?
Yeah, it was fun.
What do you think of the car?
The car, it's a Rolls-Royce at the end.
Yeah.
Super luxury, super quiet, and they give you some performance.
Yeah.
Extra performance.
A little bit of extra performance, yeah. So we had a little bit of fun on the airfield. That was fun, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And now we're just trying out on the road. Unfortunately, this event is taking place under cover of darkness, as I've said. So we are out in some quite dark roads, and that obviously limits us in terms of what we can do, what you can see. So actually, it's quite difficult filming this. I've got the light on inside, which is not ideal. So it's kind of tricky to talk about the car whilst in these circumstances. One thing is a given, the ride of course is fabulous on the car, although this one's a little bit firmer I think than you would normally expect from a Rolls, and you can feel that a little bit, I feel, you know, like just there's a slight movement that you can feel. But having said that, I think they've done that to basically firm up the suspension on the car, to give it that little bit of an edge when it comes to driver entertainment. So far, we haven't had any issue with placing the car. The car is quite easy to drive. It's just as you would expect from a Rolls-Royce. Despite the size you have to be aware of, but it's quite easy to place it. You can obviously, the flying lady is up front there to show us exactly where the front of the car is, and we haven't had too many problems apart from we've lost our way a couple of times, haven't we? Because of the night. So it's sometimes a little bit difficult, but otherwise all good. So we're going to try and find some more interesting roads and see if we can get up to a little bit of a speed. So a little bit of performance on and actually we're in normal mode. If I switch into low mode, then you get a little bit more of an aural sensation. It's quite subtle though, to be honest with you. It's only when you can really feel the performance, you know. And that's the thing with the car. It's very understated. It doesn't go crazy, but it's there. It's swift, it's instant. You press the accelerator and whoosh, off you go. It's pretty much as you would expect from a Rolls-Royce. How would you compare this to other cars that you've driven in the Rolls-Royce range, Suhaib?
A Rolls-Royce car is always special. You feel like you are not driving a car.
Yeah.
It's very quiet. If you open the window,
the sound will suddenly be
super different.
Yeah.
I love the sound of this car.
Yeah.
Because the sound of the exhaust, it's a real sound.
Yeah.
Not like noise from the speakers.
A good point.
So
yeah.
They give the car a soul.
Yeah, they give the car a soul. So there's a bit of mystery with this car. There's a bit of soul with this car. There's definitely a bit of energy in this car. You know, this car likes to show you that and prove it to you. But the other thing about this car is it's got character. It's got attitude. I think that's the main thing with this car, isn't it? That it's got this black badge character and personality that it likes to evoke. Almost a kind of, you know, a darker side, literally, of Rolls-Royce. But other than that, I mean, it's like I said, under these circumstances, it's difficult to do a full review of the car, but it is as you would expect a Rolls-Royce Ghost to be. This is a Ghost, but with a little bit more oomph, and certainly a lot more of a dark, mysterious personality. So there you go. I hope you've enjoyed this introduction to the Rolls-Royce Ghost Black Badge, and I thank so much, Suhaib, for joining us in this video. It's great to have you, and I hope to see you again in London very, very soon. And we'll catch you all again in the next video. Thanks so much for watching. A big shout out and thanks to Jay Williams over at Air Technic, who are my top tier sponsors. Check them out for exhaust, brakes, suspension, and even body kits. Also, much appreciation to my tier 4 sponsors, Muhammad Ali Ahmed and Tom Conway Gordon. And of course, all of these other guys who have joined me on Patreon. Without their support, I can't be creating the content that I am doing. Perhaps you can join them. Head over to patreon.com/browncarguy. Even if you can't do that, make sure you're subscribing and sharing this channel, which of course is youtube.com/browncarguy. Also subscribe to browncarguy.com and follow me on all the socials. Just search for my hashtag, which of course is #browncarguy.